What is an example of pure evil? https n.m. Wikipedia org/wiki/murder of Gabriel Fernandez. I posted this on another Reddit thread a few weeks ago. Read at your own risk. But some of the more shocking element, this poor 8-year-old boy was tortured to death by his parents, mom, and stepdad, because they believed he was gay. He was often locked in a box at the foot of their bed for days at a time. They starved him, beat him, broke his bones, burned him with cigarettes, forced him to urinate/defect on himself by depriving access to a toilet, and then punished him for it. Forced him to sit in freezing cold baths to reduce visible bruises, lied to social workers, and said he was visiting family when he was actually bound and gagged and locked in the box in their bedroom. At his autopsy, the ME found BBs, yes, from a BB gun, lodged in his testicle and face. They also found cat litter in his stomach. And it was later revealed by a sibling that Gabriel was responsible for cleaning the litter boxes for the mom's 7 cats. If the parents found feces in the boxes after he was supposed to have cleaned them, he was made to eat it. They made him eat spoiled food. And if he threw up, they forced him to eat his own vomit. The worst part is, he only lived with them for 8 months. He lived the first 7 years of his life with the mom's uncle and his partner in Mexico. Mom took him back because 2 gay men are not appropriate caregivers for a young boy, not my words. Was in the Netflix doc, and because they wanted to receive welfare benefits for him. So this poor kid who was happy and raised with love for 7 years gets suddenly yanked away from the only home he's ever known and then tortured to death. This is pure fucking evil. I hope the stepdaddy got initiated into the Rosebud Club his first 15 minutes in prison. Some guy in the 80s who worked in a lab injected his infant son with HIV, infected blood so his son would die, a horrible death, and he wouldn't have to pay child support. That Sylvia Likens story. I honestly felt like less of a human after reading it. I never thought a Wikipedia article could make me cry so damn hard, but it was like every line just kept getting worse. https n. Wikipedia org/wiki/murder of Sylvia Likens. Child sex trafficking. Unit 731. A secret biological and chemical warfare research unit of the Imperial Japanese Army that undertook lethal human experimentation during World War II. Some particularly brutal experiments performed on prisoners included frostbite testing, intentional syphilis infection, live target weapon testing, forced pregnancy from rape, bacteriological experiments on children, vivisection, surgery conducted for experimental purposes on a living organism, in this case, without anesthesia. Read here, https n.m. Wikipedia org/wiki/unit 731. For anyone with the will to listen to such atrocities, I recommend Jocko Podcast #133 https://youtube b/mismxtwood4 The Horrors of Unit 731. Edit. A few people below have mentioned a movie based on Unit 731 called Men Behind the Sun. Edit. Definition of vivisection. Chris Watts, Colorado father who strangled his 34-year-old pregnant wife, then killed his 3- and 4-year-old daughters and dumped their bodies in oil tanks. He did this to get rid of obstacles that prevented him from being with his lover. Child molestation and severe physical torture sued solely for emotional pleasure. The medical experiments done in concentration camps during WWII. That one story of those Yakuza boys torturing that one girl. Junko something. I'll have to look it up later, but the details are honestly gut-wrenching. Edit. The name is Junko Furuta. Meant no disrespect by not remembering. Just genuinely forgot with all the other stories I've read. Just goes to show you how much fucked up shit is really out there. The people who pressured a 14-year-old Japanese teen to kill herself on stream. Nanjing Massacre Aka the Rape of Nanjing. Skinning animals alive. Murder of Kellyanne Bates. I wouldn't go into the details as it is very gruesome. But know that some consider her to be the most tortured victim. Her boyfriend tortured her over a period of 4+ weeks. https n.m. Wikipedia. org/wiki/murder. Of Kelly Ann Bates. Warning, not for the faint of heart. Rather than an example. I've always thought that evil was knowing something was very wrong, but doing it anyway. Nestle giving out free samples of formula in Africa. The samples lasted just long enough for the women to stop producing breast milk. Meaning these poor African women now had to buy expensive formula for their children to keep them alive. Joseph Fritzl, based in Amstetten, Austria, held his daughter captive for 24 years. During this time he assaulted her, sexually abused and raped her numerous times during her imprisonment inside a concealed area in the cellar of the family home. The abuse resulted in 7 children. 3 remained in captivity with their mother. 1 died shortly after birth and the other 3 raised by him and his wife Rosemary. Torturing helpless animals, children, and or the elderly. There is a special place in hell for these kinds of people. Taking advantage of the innocent and weak, i.e. children and animals. When I was 19 and depressed, I lived with a group of guys I considered my little weirdo family. One of the guys, the one I trusted the least and wasn't sure what exactly was off, tortured my kitten and then lied about it. I moved out the next day. A friend told me the truth about what he had done to my cat. I still don't know why she didn't take the cat and fucking leave. Or call me to come home. What a pussy she was. The same guy plus another mutual friend murdered a homeless man in our city the following week. Like, brutally murdered. The SWAT team busted in the apartment I had just left. Luckily I missed out on the drama rather than my cat being put down. Really taught me about my lack of judgment. I had also just purchased what I thought was a sweet ass Halloween time shower curtain, complete with blood splatter and handprints, before I realized I was living with literal American psychos. Super strange feeling. Listening to Salad Days and Panzermensch while you kill your old friends and classmates with an R15.